Welcome back, everyone. Well, kind of welcome back, I guess. This is not our usual Friday stream because we're not doing this one on Friday. We are going to be potentially going over the Kiely Rodni case on Friday. However, tonight, that is strictly what we are going to be covering because this is a restream. Now, this stream, we're going to be just focusing on the timeline. I'm going to be covering a little bit extra information concerning something else that's piqued my interest here. Now, I haven't heard a whole lot of people going over the same data here, so this could be a little interesting here, especially when it concerns the video footage of Kiely Rodni allegedly driving her vehicle in. We don't know who drove the vehicle, but we do know that we can see that her vehicle does go in. At least a vehicle goes into the water at this time. And now, I would love to go and see earlier that day. If anybody's got footage of that whole day, I'd love to see before the party. Now, we know that there was something going on. Where it took place, there's some details about it we haven't got 100% proof on. We've got some, but not 100%. So I'm just gonna say that okay, allegedly the party was over there. Party, it's people start leaving. Kiely is one of them allegedly, and that's when her car goes, or her SUV goes into the lake. Just drives right in, and it actually goes over the time that was actually listed by the FBI when her phone was pinged. Which begs the question: why did her phone die before the vehicle actually did submerge all the way? It's a little interesting. But we got to go and cover the narrative once again, because what is the police narrative here? They're saying that she drowned. It was an accidental incident. But you look at it, the autopsy already shows that that's not true. She drowned. No, she didn't. She died. We can't really prove how she died 100%. There's some people even suggesting fentanyl. Now, I'm not one to believe necessarily fentanyl right off the bat. I'm still looking into it. It's a lead I've got currently. That maybe there was some fentanyl-laced whatever she used, or maybe it got into her system somehow. However, there's some parts about that don't really line up. You got to examine other fentanyl cases for that one. I'm still looking because there's differences in all of them. But we're gonna, we've already gone and looked at like things like chloroform. And we know that's at least a possibility. We cannot say otherwise at this point. But she was strangely in basically like the trunk equivalent kind of thing of her SUV. Now the thing is, it flipped. She was all the way in the back. And then her body kind of just, after it flipped and everything, her body had kind of started to go into the rest of the car. But end of the day, her body was indeed in the equivalent of the trunk. I don't even remember what it's called exactly, but we're going to go over the timeline today, though, because there's some interesting parts in there that, well, they need to be covered. So, first and foremost, we're just going to go over the whole case. It's going to cover the narrative double time, of course. But it's also going to go and raise some questions here, and I really want those questions raised. So we look at August 5th, 2022 at 6:08 p.m. Kiely Rodni is seen on security footage at a department store. I looked around at Truckee. Now this is as it's in Truckee, California at 6:08 p.m., right? Well, what other department stores could this be? You start looking around at all this, and this is what this ends up looking like. It looks more like it's Maryland's Catwalk. I mean, if somebody else is for sure confirmed it's not that store, it's some other store, please let me know in the comments or in chat. Even privately, that's totally cool. Just let me know. I would just want to go and confirm that for sure. And at 8 p.m., Kiely allegedly attended an end of the school year party at Prosser Creek Reservoir Campground, and there was between 200 and 300 people attending. And then at 11:30 p.m., Kiely allegedly texted her mother, Lindsay Rodni Nyman, stating she planned on leaving the party in 45 minutes, which would have made it August 6th, 2022 at 12:15 a.m., and that she would come straight home. Now, the reason I say 200 to 300 people allegedly, you look at the photo you have on the screen right here, that's allegedly the party. That's not 200 to 300 people. You can see there's definitely some other people here at the campground, sure. They'd have to be really scattered for that to be a thing. But we're not seeing it really scattered. We're seeing this is just a big clump of people here. That's really it, which this doesn't, I mean, this could be a party still, but it's not the 200 to 300 people. Next up, and we're going to cover some things back over, we're going to kind of go all over the place with this, especially concerning Sammy Smith, who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is 23 years old, and she was hanging out with a bunch of these high schoolers. It's a little peculiar in my opinion, but August 6, 2022 at 12:30 p.m. or a.m. Allegedly, friends from the party last saw Kiely around this time. I need to change it to a.m. 12:33 a.m. Kiely's phone pinged near the campground, followed by her phone turning off shortly after. Okay, so I gotta go and correct myself. This is correct. Turning off shortly after, allegedly her last phone call was to a family member who claimed nothing seemed wrong with her. Her parents reported her missing later that day. Now, I haven't included the AAA or whatever he is, that driver that had shown up when Kiely also had, there was a guy, a suspicious guy with her as well. But here's her missing poster. Here's Kiely. Here's her vehicle. There's August 7th, 2022. The Placer County Sheriff's Office, we're going to refer to as the PCSO, established a tip line for Kiely Rodni. The FBI joins the search along with helicopter and ground crew search teams. Okay, now keep this in mind. We go back here. My mouse is definitely acting up. Okay, I forgot to go in here and say, oh yeah, we don't know the exact time her parents reported her missing. To be blunt, I couldn't find it. At least I looked and looked and looked. I couldn't find it. I'm not saying I wasn't looking super hard. I was just looking for it using some keywords, things like this, looking through articles. Didn't see anything. So if anybody's got that, please leave that in chat or in comments. All right. August 8th, 2022. The PCSO said they coordinated with California Highway Patrol, which will now be known as CHP, Truckee Police Department, which is TPD, FBI, and the Nevada County Sheriff's Office, which they'll also be referred to NCSO, as they searched for Kiely. Her operations crew flew over the I-80 corridor between Donner Summit and the Nevada state line and searched around the Prosser Lake area. Kiely's disappearance was being investigated as a possible abduction because authorities had been unable to locate her vehicle in the initial search efforts. You can already see the picture below. It was right there. August 9th, 2022, helicopters from the CHP and the PCSO continued aerial searches for Kiely and her vehicle. Search crews comb Lake Prosser by boats. A land-based search party gathers near the shoreline of the lake. They found no clues. Right there in their face, but they found no clues. You gotta think. How did her car go in the lake? And that far? That's not that bad. You'll see what I'm talking about because we're going to get into depth here in a little bit. Because this starts to drop off relatively quick, and keep in mind this is also low. I'll say this once again. Prosser Creek Reservoir is low. So this isn't as actually high as it should be. I'll show you guys when we get into that in a bit, as that'll also be in the updated version. Once I get that done, there's a few things I need to add, and that'll be the version 2 that will also be posted on the Strange Investigations page that I have. You can look that up on Facebook, and also you can find that also on the Crowworks Entertainment Facebook page as well, so you'll be able to find these things. Next, we have August 10th, 2022. According to a release from the PCSO, the search has now swelled to 265 personnel from the CHP, FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, which will now be known as DHS, the TPD, and sheriff's offices from several counties. 5 days after Kiely's disappearance, authorities have received 300 tips and have expanded more than 4,600 personal hours in the attempt to find her. If you average that out, it comes up about 5 to 6 hours for 3 days for 265 employees each. Some are going to have more, some are going to have less. That's not a whole lot of search time. Nevada County Sheriff's Office, the NCSO, Captain Sam Brown tells everyone to protect any possible evidence they may find. Interesting. That's what you're supposed to do anyways, but interesting he's got to say that. Authorities collect a bag of evidence from the campground, but do not release information about what they found. That right there is alarming. A photo of Rodni's 2013 silver Honda CR-V, it's an LX model, is released along with a photo of a sweatshirt she was loaned on August 5th, the day before she went missing. Now, this is a little weird. Why would they show this sweater that she had if that was from the day before she went missing? Didn't appear to be wearing it in the surveillance photo from earlier that day. Could this just be in her vehicle? Well, they haven't said they found this at all. If they haven't found this at all, it's a little weird. But you look at this. Now, this is the really interesting part. If you read the hoodie, it says, "You don't want to be forgotten. You just want to disappear." That's not creepy at all, considering this case. But that's okay. On August 13th, 2022, the PCSO said they only have information on Kiely's last known location before she went missing. Detectives from local, state, and federal agencies continued to follow leads and conduct interviews to try to find Kiely and her car. Now, this is the interesting part here. August 14th, 2022, authorities uncover a video that shows Kiely wearing a white sweatshirt with pink lettering reading "Odd Future." Another kind of bizarre post, but they release a photo of a similar sweatshirt. It's actually the same one. August 15th, 2022. Adventures with Purpose, which will now be referred to as AWP, posted on Facebook saying they were heading to California to help with the search for Kiely. Brown said through 10 days of searching, 3 to 4 hours of searching for each of the 265 personnel over 10 days, it's actually 9 days. The search has actually been on though, but we're going to go with what he said. Authorities had dedicated about 9,000 hours of search time. Yeah. It's a lot of time. But okay. As part of the investigation into Kiely's disappearance, TPD and the PCSO did sex offender sweeps in the Truckee and North Tahoe area. They didn't say what they found. August 20th, 2022, AWP began their search. August 21st, 2022, 12:30 p.m., AWP posted on Facebook saying they found Kiely with her car in 14 inches of water in the Prosser Creek Reservoir. 14 feet of water in the Prosser Creek Reservoir, which is 55 feet from the shore. They said they notified the family and law enforcement, and that law enforcement was on their way. AWP said it found the vehicle within about 35 minutes of deploying boats in the water. That makes this huge. That means the police didn't really search. They didn't do a good job, or they didn't know what they're doing. And if they're employing people for positions that they don't know what they're doing, why are they doing that? Why are they even in this position? It doesn't make any sense. That just shows their incompetence. I know I've shown this with a lot of cases now, that police incompetence. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against the police. But this is pretty obvious incompetence. Either that or it's a cover-up. How else could you go and miss this? This doesn't make any sense. We were able to see it right off the shore. 5 p.m., the PCSO said they were notified by AWP and had not yet confirmed the identity of the person in the vehicle. PCSO said the figure had eclipsed 19,000 hours, or 4 to 5 hours of searching for the 265 personnel for 16 days each by the PCSO's count, of course. It's 15 days, but that's fine. Alder Hill fire camera captured what appears to be Rodni's vehicle as it went into the reservoir and submerged. Okay, now that's the important part. Like I said, I would like to see from earlier. What was going on when it was sunny? Was there a ramp put up there? Was there something? We don't know, because it wouldn't take much for the car to go that far in, and I'll show you why when it comes to the depth map. But still, hitting it she'd have to be hitting it pretty fast. Still, to go out as far as she did. And I'll get more into that. So as you can see on the screen, oops. Here is the picture of her vehicle. You can see there was a broken window here, which shows me that somebody was trying to escape, right? We don't know what the actual break looked like. They're not giving us an actual one here, so that makes that a little interesting. But then you've also got the driver's side rear window is halfway down. One was broken. So, and then of course her body was found behind the back seat. Okay, now I want you guys to take a look at this. You can see it's an LX. Okay, the cargo volume. Now this is going to be that back seat back there, right? So that's going to be, she's got, and this is by cubic feet, the rear seat up, okay, which is how much space she would have. It's 37.2 cubic feet. She didn't have really any room to be back there. Now she barely would have fit. Okay. And I got to change that. It's not 37.2 inches. Cubic feet. So she would have had room that she would have been able to fit back there, but uncomfortably. And you got to note this. Kiely was 5 foot 5 inches, which comes out to 65 inches. The back seat was up, which is 37.2 cubic feet. So she would have been very cramped. Okay. At least from what I could tell so far. August 22nd, 2022, the NCSO said in a press conference they recovered a car from Prosser Creek Reservoir and believed it was Kiely's body inside. But they have not positively confirmed it. The Rodni Nyman family also released a statement. I didn't post their statements because, quite frankly, you go over it and it's people saying goodbye and all this kind of stuff, and just kind of going over the life and the death of Kiely, and how sad they are. Okay, but I mean, it's, for the case at this point, as far as I'm concerned, it is not relevant. Now, going back over when we're going over personalities and things like this, you can possibly get into that, but for just all intents and purposes for right now, since we're going over the timeline, it doesn't matter. August 23rd, 2022, the NCSO said an autopsy was conducted and confirmed that the person found in Prosser Creek Reservoir is Kiely. The PCSO and the NCSO are in communication with Kiely's family and offer our deepest condolences to them during this extremely difficult time, the NCSO wrote in a Facebook post. The toxicology report would likely take 4 to 6 weeks, according to the PCSO. Would it though? August 23rd, 2022. The NCSO said an autopsy was conducted and confirmed that the person found was okay. That's directly from the article. So they found was Kiely Rodni. Okay, so that's what we've got on the timeline. Now there's more coming, okay, because we've got my big thing I'm looking at here, which is the depth. Okay. Now, this may not look like a whole lot, but this is the depth of the reservoir. Now I'll show you guys where she was at. Okay. This is where she had driven off of. The beach goes about this far out. I'm loving how this internet is just jacked up right now. So you can start seeing numbers popping up and all that. She came off this way. And this is where the little dotted line ends. It's right about here. See it here? Just do it one more time so you can see. Then we're going to go back in. Here it is. So you can see now if you were to go and cross-reference this and put a little opacity on this over a satellite image of Prosser Creek Reservoir, the lake is down pretty far. Somewhere, I think, right about here or so. Then you go in 14 feet off. Well, that's 50 feet down. But, or not 14, we got to go 55 feet off. So that would be somewhere like, probably right over here. Okay, so you look, she's over here. There's 14 feet of water. If this now becomes 0 here, where she's at, then you start looking at how deep the water is, 14 feet, and it starts going down pretty drastically. It's good chunks. This, it just angles down, but it just kind of just starts dropping. And I don't want to say drastically, but it drops off pretty significantly. So this is the important part because they still missed her. They literally went right over her. How? How is that even possible? Doesn't make any sense now, does it? So that's one of the questions I have. So I'm investigating that a little bit right now. You combine that with, we got to find out, is it because of droughts? And if it's because of droughts, does it really matter? No, not really, because we can already see she went into the lake and we know that it's down that far. Now we know it also angles down, so therefore the car flipping and all this does make sense. Now, we can always gauge, okay, did she hit the car or the water really hard? If she did, it's possible, then that could explain, well, it doesn't really explain the rollover. That's basically what the car did. So, it makes things a little interesting here. And that's literally everything we covered this last week. So depth is my next one we're going to be looking at. So tomorrow I should have some more information concerning the depth and what that means. And then we can go and we can figure some more out from there. Now, is that going to be like case breaking? Are we going to be able to solve the case just based on that? No. I still suspect chloroform was used. We know that even the toxicology report, when they looked at the ethanol levels, they said this probably mostly, if not all, from the body decomposing. There's a lot to cover on this case. But we're going to go over things, for instance, like the organs. We're going to go over the details about those because they're also going to tell us some more as well. So we're going to look at sizes. We're going to go and look at weights. What do they mean? All right, so I will see you guys back here tomorrow night. Tomorrow's show will be at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to follow on social media on Facebook. Easiest way to go and find out if there's any differences in time. For instance, if I'm working on a project a little longer, I'll have to post on Facebook